Hello, EK Nation. Welcome to a new edition of This Week in Karting. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole here in the EKN studio for episode number 90. It is November 25th, 2025. Time to fill you in on everything that's made its way to the EKN homepage over the last few weeks. Today's edition of This Week in Karting presented by Margay Racing. Check out Margay Racing's Spec Ignite class and their Arrive and Drive packages. Nothing matches the affordability and competitive level of the Ignite program, where the best driver wins over the best equipment. Bring your safety gear and Margay will do the rest. Next year's Ignite majors include the WK Daytona Kart Week, Quincy Grand Prix, USAC Karting Elkhart Riverwalk Grand Prix, and the Rock Island Grand Prix on Labor Day weekend. The Midwest-based Ignite Challenge Series will hit 5 different tracks in 2026, and be sure to find a club running an Ignite class in your part of the country this season. For more information, please visit ignitekarting.com today. Get off the couch and into a race seat. All right, David Cole, we're kind of winding things up. Obviously, last week was nothing but finishing things off from the SCUSA Super Nationals. It's been over a couple of months since we've had one of our This Week in Kartings. But the bottom line is, I guess, once we kind of turn the corner into September through October and then into November, it's been nonstop for 2 months.
It certainly has, Rob. It's been a lot of action. You know, we had the EKN 25 celebration in September, the 17th. So that filled up some time there in terms of podcasts and face-to-face. We had a couple other face-to-face shows as well. And of course, we went to Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals 9. We went to the Road Tax RMC U.S. Trophy Final. We went to Rock Vegas and, of course, Super Nationals. So a lot of activity, a lot of action. So it took us kind of away from this show. So, you know, now that we're kind of settled in, we're gonna hit a bunch more of these shows over the next 2 months. Or a month and a half, really, yeah. and make sure people are informed of what's going on, because a lot's happened over the last 2 months.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And again, as David said, with all those events, of course, with our debrief and outlet podcast, doing a couple of them for the Super Nationals, we had 10 podcasts over the last little while. So indeed, on it for sure. But this is, again, episode number 90, back at it again. Lots going on. Not surprisingly, everything kind of focused on 2026. Let's start, David, with the first bit that came out. The Challenge of the Americas, an event, our series that you and I love to go to and have for many, many years, has confirmed its locations for next year's program. 4 weekends on the docket again, as there was in 2025. Kicking things off February 20th to the 22nd, they have locked down the K1 circuit in Winchester, California. Dave, our first trip there last year with Challenge of the Americas. The construction, I think, is completed. When we were there, the tower, the main building was really just it was done, like it was built, but all the interior construction was still underway.
Yeah, that's completed. It was completed shortly after we were there, in I think it was March when we were there. And yeah, so Challenge in America is going to open up in Southern California and then take their talents to Arizona, heading back to the Phoenix Kart Racing Association. That'll be on April 17th through the 19th. So a little bit of an extended season for 2026 for Challenge in the Americas. It's going to stretch out from February to July. And then, no surprise, this is kind of what I envisioned happening with the challenge heading to Colorado Karting Circuit at Centennial Airport in Centennial, Colorado. That'll be on May 29th through the 31st. And Rob, that's kind of the nexus of the challenge. That's where it was announced back in 2007. The facility reopened last year. It's been kind of a big hit in terms of Rocky Mountain karting. So excited. That's the one thing the challenge wants to do, is go to where the racers are. And there's been a lot of racers from the state of Colorado that have taken part in the challenge over its 18 previous years, going into the 19th season coming up in 2026.
Yeah, I think that's super cool to get out there to Colorado Karting Circuit. Of course, as David had said, that's big news to get that particular facility back up and running. They've invested a ton of money into it. So yeah, let's get the challenge out there. And as David had said, lots of Colorado racers have been part of the challenge over the last 18 years. And then, of course, capping things off, confirmation that Sonoma Raceway on July the 10th to the 12th will be the final stop on the circuit. So as David said, February, April, May, and July, K1 Circuit in Winchester, Phoenix Kart Racing Association in Glendale, Colorado Karting Circuit in Centennial, and Sonoma Raceway in Sonoma will be the 4 events. I'll be able to, based on my schedule with some conflicts I had this year, I think I'm only going to be able to make 2 of those 4 races. I'll be at K1 in Colorado. I won't be able to get back out to Phoenix or Sonoma. So yeah, it happens. Obviously, a lot of stuff with my USF Pro Championship schedule is going to potentially have conflicts. In years past, we've had none. 2 this year, but Dave, obviously confirming the locations. But there's more stuff that happened. We had that face-to-face on YouTube and in podcast format with Andy Saisman. There's a lot going on, an evolution, if you will, for the challenge going into 2026.
Yeah, certainly another new era, I guess. Yeah. It's evolution more than era, I guess, with the way the challenge and karting goes in general. No shifters in 2026. Obviously, the participation was very low in 2025. So Andy Saisman is elected to bring on 4 new categories, and that's going to be focused around the Briggs 206 engine platform, which will include cadet, junior, senior, and masters categories. So the challenge going back to 8 categories. So you have the 2-cycle side with cadet, junior, senior, and masters, and also the Briggs 206 side with cadet, junior, senior, and masters. So very simplified format, allows competitors to double dip as well. Yeah. You're definitely going to see that, and allows kind of the grassroots racers to be part of the challenge. Again, there's not very many regional programs or even national programs that compete out in the West. So that's where the Challenge in Americas is kind of standing strong. Now entering again its 19th season as a championship program. So definitely with the way the spread out of the schedule, February to July, it certainly helps allow people, and then 4 different regions of that area, Southern California, Arizona, Rocky Mountain region, and Northern California, all 4 different regions of the western half of the USA.
Yeah, I think it's great. Obviously, the big numbers last year in the junior and senior air-cooled 100cc categories, which is great. Cadet was strong as well. So, the strengths that they had last year, they just didn't have those shifters numbers that they had in years past. So adding the Briggs 206 programs for cadet, junior, senior, and masters, and expecting to see a very strong Challenge of the Americas, again, confirming their locations for 2026. David, I'll let you kind of roll with this one because I know that you and Keith Warren talked a lot about it as it was developing, but Race Select Live launched at the CKNA Grand Nationals. We used it as well, Super Nationals 28, just a couple of weeks ago. So kind of a cool thing. Race Hero, of course, was something that a lot of us used earlier. That it was Race Monitor, Race Hero being shut down. Shout out to Keith and his crew there, his team, to get Race Select Live up and running for Grand Nationals 9.
Yeah, it's been a year in progress, a year of development for the live timing app, which is developed by Race Select, which does manage a lot of the registration programs for a lot of the club, regional, and national programs. And so, yeah, Keith Warren and his software company, has been able to develop this new live timing app. And again, it's different and unique from what we've seen before, including Race Hero or Race Monitor. And it's trying to provide more information, more data, more content in order for you to have right in your phone. So it's been cool to see kind of the development of that. Obviously, we had Race Hero. I think we were kind of spoiled with it a little bit, and then went away at the end of 2024. So throughout this past season, we've been kind of waiting for something to take its place, and Race Select Live is going to do that. It's still kind of in its developmental stage, trying to understand the connectivity between Orbits and its software. So some bugs are still getting worked out, but again, it's essentially giving you a new look in terms of live timing on your phone, and definitely a lot of different options and unique information that are available through the app. And again, they're going to continue to develop it as it moves along. So it's not just going to sit there and be static like we've seen with the with the race monitor program.
Yeah, indeed. So yeah, shout out to them. Good stuff for Race Select Live, and we had a chance to sit down with him at with Keith at the CKNA Grand Nationals for that quick little show that we did from our new garage area at Newcastle, and he kind of told us again, there's an ability to work on the fly. A lot of feedback coming in from people. They're going to be able to kind of roll out a lot of different features throughout next year as well. So I love the way it's kind of rolling out, and I think it's going to be something that obviously it's going to become a big part of everything we do, especially us here on our side, but every racer and family member going to be able to have that live timing on their mobile device. David, we talked about lots of racing going on here at home, CKNA, Rotax, U.S. Trophy Final, Rock Vegas, Super Nationals. But of course, one of the biggest events of the year every season is the FIA Karting World Championships. I know that you follow along with that, and obviously filed a report on ekartingnews.com based on the stuff we got in from the FIA and CIK. So let's talk a little bit about the World Karting Championships. We were thankfully able to see a number of these drivers at the Super Nationals just a week ago.
Yeah, just kind of a recap again for those not familiar with what happened during September and October during the World Championships. Obviously, OK and OK Junior were in Sweden. That's where we saw a lot of the racers from around the world compete, and it was Thibet Remakers, the Belgian driver on the Kart Republic, earning this year's World Championship. Not a driver we did see in Vegas, but we did see the runner-up. That's Joe Turney, the two-time winner at the Super Nationals last year. So he helped give Kart Republic a 1-2 finish in the World Championship. And then Lev, can never say his name the correct way. Yeah, I believe that's the driver we saw at the SKUSA Winter Series and other events recently. He finished third on the Energy, the Ukraine driver. Top North American driver was Jensen Burnett, finishing ninth, the Canadian finishing ninth there. So great performance by Jensen to finish in the top 10. OK Junior category, Noah Baglin. We've mentioned him in many previous podcasts for the Super Nationals. Obviously came into Vegas as a world champion, helping give Kart Republic a 1-2-3 finish. Valerio Via Pignana, the Italian, and Dean Hugendorn, another driver we saw at the Super Nationals. So Kart Republic going 1, 2, and 3 in OK Junior. Top North American driver, again, Canada taking that spot with Eli Cressan finishing in the 5th spot. So a top 5 finish for the Canadians. So Canadians looking very well over in Europe all season long, not only in these two categories, but other as well. Going to the shifter ranks, KZ raced in Italy. It was Senna van Walsteen, the Dutch driver for Sodi Kart, taking the world championship ahead of Swedish driver Victor Gustafsson, with Danilo Albanese, the Italian, finishing third on the Kart Republic. All drivers we've seen at the Super Nationals. Obviously, we saw Senna and Victor this year. Victor, the top qualifier or the pole position driver for Super Sunday, and then Senna coming up from P16 to win his first Super Nationals, becoming the first world champion to win at the Super Nationals in its 28-year history of the event. Top North American driver, AJ Myers, with the Magic Kart program, the USA driver finishing 19th in his return back to the World Championships. Dealt with some rib issues the weekend before, but kind of powered through that in the World Championships.
Yeah, Maxime Orloff in the KZ2 category for Sodi Kart 1 and KZ2. Timo Jungling in the Sodi Kart finishing in second, and Noah Wolf, Dave, wrapping up the top 3. The podium for the KZ2 drivers. Birol Art for the Great Britain driver.
Yeah, I was shocked to see Noah Wolf. He was at the Super Nationals, but ran the X30 Pro category, not the Pro Shifter division. But so didn't quite have the Super Nationals that he was looking forward to. KZ2 Masters, Angelo Lombardo, the Maranello driver from Italy, scoring the world title ahead of former world champion Davide Fore on the Praga. So Italy going 1-2 in the World Championships, with former top driver Anthony Abbas on the Sodi kart, the Frenchman finishing in third.
Yeah, good to see Abbas back. Obviously, we spent some time with him when he was over running for the Sodi factory team, two-time winner at the Super Nationals. Wonder if we can drag him back for a master shifter run one day back at the Super Nats.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think he's focused kind of a little bit on just that event, doing, I think he's part of a track over there in France, if I'm not mistaken. So, tough to kind of get away. But maybe there could be some, we'll have to talk with Sodi Racing USA here to see if they can bring him back.
Well, they went with Senna, right? So maybe he's like, man, we try to do a 1-2, try to win both.
Maybe it's the Billy Musgrave thing that's keeping.
Maybe I'll drag him back. We'll see. Let's go.
Maybe.
All right, folks. First break of the action. We get back. Some business stuff to talk about. A lot going on in the industry as well over these last couple of months. Stay tuned. More to come on This Week in Karting. What brand is known around the world for its innovation and success? It is Sodi Kart. The Sodi brand returned in full force during the 2023 season thanks to a new exclusive importer, the Karting Distribution, led by industry veteran Terry Germanovich. The French manufacturer Sodi Kart is a leader within the karting industry, offering a wide range of products and services. The Sodi Racing chassis line offers products in classes from mini karts to KZ, all based on years of development and championship seasons around the world. Sodi Racing USA has expanded its dealer network over the last year, bringing the Sodi brand to several local clubs and regional programs. Sodi USA by Velocity Racing is the official race team in the United States for the brand, hitting all the major events and series throughout the season. Visit Sodi-Racing-USA.com to learn more about the Sodi kart chassis or call 954-634-5111 to become part of the Sodi Racing USA network today. Sodi Kart, the world leader in the karting industry. Ready to step up your game? Joining the Rawlison Performance Group is the obvious choice to take your racing to the next level. Industry-leading driver development is provided by our staff of multi-time national champions, Super Nationals winners, and Team USA members. And at the same time, RPG continues to be a national-level powerhouse race team. Our goal is to help you raise your game and win races. We work with all age groups and are focused on developing those cadet and junior drivers who are ready to take the next step in their racing program. Rawlison Performance Group has set a new standard with our in-house engine program, AVP Engines, headed by Alex Vincent. AVP has become the benchmark in IAME competition. We have the largest OTK inventory that follows our race team, providing trackside parts at all the major events in North America. RPG also offers multilingual support with French, Spanish, and Portuguese-speaking staff. If you want to fight for championships or want to improve your skills and your chances to win, the answer is to call RPG at 503-260-4514. The Rawlison Performance Group. We race to win. Let decades of experience and success lead you to the top of the podium. Join Brandon Jarsacrack Racing as your race team at the sport's major events in the United States. Brandon Jarsacrack is a 4-time United States Pro Kart Series champion, along with a multi-time Superkarts USA Pro Tour and WKA Manufacturers Cup Series race winner. Jarsacrack is ranked among one of the best from his generation to get behind the wheel of a racing kart. BJR provides full race team service and support at all USPKS, SCUSA, and Stars Championship Series events, along with trackside programs at the Trackhouse Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. Partnering with Mike Doty Racing, Brandon's team of driver coaches and mechanics are passionate for the sport, providing decades of experience both on the track and working with many of today's karting standouts and current motorsport stars. Brandon Jarsacrack Racing offers a full range of services, including kart preparation, driver coaching, and race event support for both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competitors. BJR is an official LN Racing Kart team with OTK USA and is an official offset sport race team. Contact them today to develop a program based around your needs. Head to BrandonJarsacrack.com to learn more. Welcome back to episode 90 of This Week in Karting. It's November the 25th. My name is Rob Howden, joined by David Cole, into now the second segment of today's show. And really all about industry right now, David. There's some news that kind of came down. We had some insider information about this coming together. It was actually announced on October 27th, but a new program, a new company, an umbrella company called Chorus Group was announced. The majority of the shares being held by TEC Racing, promoted within the Equity Club. And the big thing about it, Dave, there's obviously a number of organizations part of it, Tatis Racing being one. They supply the Formula cars for a lot of different series, including the USF Pro Championships, but also Autotecnica Motori, Breda Racing, all part of that. They all kind of joined forces back in 2017 and 2018. But a lot of the big thing was the acquisition of this Chorus Group and the entire program of a number of major karting operations. I'll let you take it from there.
Yeah, the Chorus Group was just established and essentially is a combination of 8 different companies all mixed into the one umbrella. And included in that are 3 major karting operations, Burrell Art, Miami, and Kart Republic. They joined Next Solution Technologies as the most recent acquisitions by this group, which joins Ycom and then the 3 previous companies that you had just mentioned. So all 8 of these companies now are under this Chorus Group establishment, which is, it's kind of what we're seeing lately in the karting world in terms of a business side of things. We've seen it with OTK, we've seen it with other acquisitions going around, and it's just the one thing I see personally about this situation, it's putting a lot of the motorsports companies all together, which is a positive, I think. I think it could be a good thing for karting long-term in terms of working with all these different manufacturing companies that are all different types of motorsports around the world. So that is a good thing. Speaking with PSL Karting and Kart Republic, dignitaries here in North America, short term, nothing's changing. Everything's kind of staying the same. It's the question of long term. What does this mean for Burrell Art? What does this mean for IAME? What does this mean for Kart Republic long term? Obviously, we know Burrell Art has a long history in Europe. IAME, of course, has a long tradition between the U.S. and Europe as well too. And Kart Republic is kind of that newer entity that with Dino Chiesa, very focused on just winning world championships. Let's be honest.
Right. I did have a good chat with Ronnie Sala from Burrell Art at the Super Nationals, and just kind of asked him straight up, what are your thoughts about it? And it was nothing but positive, obviously to bring all these organizations together, these companies together. There's obviously financial stability. There's core competencies that they're able to kind of work together on a lot of things. You talk about moving forward. There's a lot of not a powerful people, but a lot of smart people with the same concepts, the same ideas, right? So anytime you can kind of work together and potentially, like I said, core competency being one of them, right? There's whether it's material purchases or whatever it may be. I see it being a big thing moving forward. Ronnie talked a little bit about some other opportunities that may come up for karting, for the sport in and of itself, with something like this. So I don't think it's a bad thing in any way. Anytime the motorsport world can kind of come together more, I think that's a positive.
Yeah, and I think that's, looking at karting as a whole, it continues to be more and more business oriented. It's not just building something in the garage and going out and racing, right? It's full-fledged business. Yeah. It's manufacturing thousands and thousands of chassis and more and more parts or I can't think of the word right now. It's early in the morning. But again, it's becoming more and more of that, because we're seeing that in motorsports in general. They're becoming more and more about business, how we can make profits, how we can do this and that. And, that's just kind of the way it goes. But I think, like you said, technically, I think it could be a positive for the sport, because as you said, how they can work with all these different companies and help I guess not really revolutionize, but I don't. Well, I'm trying to think of the word.
There's going to be streamlining with a lot of things. When I talk about core competencies, I'm talking, there's
little more development in.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Shared knowledge, shared intelligence, shared people. Like it's just, again, there's a lot of great people involved in these companies, right? And it's everything when everything kind of gets into a ladder system together. There's everything lines up. It's a positive thing moving forward. The bottom line is, you mentioned it, David. This sport it's a sport, but it's also a massive industry. I remember years ago we threw out the number $40 million was kind of what the sport kind of worked through business wise in a year. I bet it's double that now. We're in a different place. Karting, where it was 25 years ago, 30 years ago, when I first kind of rolled in, becoming a journalist and a racer myself back in the mid 90s, we are so far from what that was back then.
I think even 10 years ago, Rob.
Yeah, again, I was going to make it an easy comparison, but you're right. Even 10 years ago, stepping hugely forward business wise. And remember, it's not just, again, like I said, it's not just mom and pop anymore, right? There are families and countless people that do business within the sport. And anytime we can have something that solidifies it throughout the entire world of global motorsports, I think that's a big positive.
Yeah. And again, it makes karting more relevant, I think, too, because when you have these major companies that are involved in the sport, it certainly helps that. And like you said, when you're talking to Ronnie Sala, maybe that is, this is another step forward to helping legitimize karting, because again, a lot of people look down on it. We're kind of in that weird place where we have the ability to grow even further than where we are at. It's just a matter of getting the right steps and the right processes in place.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Lining things up for the next big push in terms of development, for sure. One of those things that's going to help us do that is getting more and more racetracks. Sadly, of course, we lost Pittsburgh International Race Complex most recently, and there have been tracks that have kind of gone away a little bit. Obviously, the development and now full force running of K1 circuit. We talked about the Colorado track as well, but David, one of the things that came up is we've been talking to Kyle Yuchinski a little bit, the former now owners of our Amarillo Kart Complex. They let us know that the track out in Amarillo, Texas, actually was sold recently.
Yeah, that came, I want to say between, I forgot when, but in October, Amarillo Kart Complex being sold, renamed Amarillo Motorsports Park. Kyle and Brad Yuchinski selling to Jeff Offit. He is a dirt race, began racing dirt bikes and has moved into to motorcycle racing, road racing, and that. So don't know too much about the new owner. We haven't had the ability to connect with him just yet. Obviously a little busy over the last month and a half.
Well, the news did break while we were at Rock Vegas. October 29th.
Yes, that's what it was when it was. Okay, yeah. So that's when it happened. So yeah, we'll hopefully get more information on exactly that, what their plans are. I believe Texas Sprint Racing Series has already confirmed of going there in 2026. So it looks like it could be business as usual. But we'll have to see kind of what their plans are moving forward with the facility.
Love that. We'll get on that, folks. Again, off to a quick break. We get back. We're going to go back talking about events and racing series. More information coming. Like I said, all eyes focusing forward to 2026. There's a new hot button name in American safety equipment, Stilo USA. Every product with Stilo is focused on safety, comfort, and function. Stilo USA is happy to provide you with the proper safety apparel to keep you protected on the track, and their karting lineup is second to none. New to the product lineup is the Stilo Carbon CMR karting helmet. Designed to revolutionize your karting experience, this carbon fiber crafted helmet is among the lightest on the market, without compromising on safety. The Stilo ST5 KRT karting helmet is manufactured using a lightweight and extremely strong composite material. The KRT provides an excellent fit and comfort level due to its dual density interior foam lining, and it's equipped with a symmetrical visor that offers excellent vision and an effortless central visor locking system. The Stilo ST5 CMR standard was developed jointly by the FIA Institute and Snell Memorial Foundation to ensure safer and lighter weight helmets for younger karters. Drivers rave about the superior comfort levels, lightweight construction, and the unparalleled field of vision that is perfect for the youth helmet line. Stilo didn't stop with their helmets either. The newly developed Carbon Curva rib protector is unlike any other on the market, with a form-fitting solution to offer superior protection. The Carbon Curva 8870 version is FIA homologated and includes a chest protector. Head to stilohelmets.com to review these products and many more to keep you safe on the track. Stilo, any competition, one helmet. Winning takes top quality equipment, flawless preparation, experienced coaching, and passion. And at Team GFC, we live our passion. Developed by American karting champion Gary Carlton, the GFC chassis has become one of the newest brands to reach the top of the podium in North America. GFC has garnered victories and championships at all levels of the sport since its debut at the end of 2018. Shifter car drivers are at the front of the field in the GT14 frame, with the SS31 a consistent contender in tag and 100cc competition. Team GFC has arrive and drive packages available for all categories, including the mini and micro classes utilizing the GFC RR5 cadet chassis. These young pilots have the opportunity to be part of the Team GFC Young Driver Development Program. Learn from one of the best American karters with 28 years racing at the highest levels in the sport, offering personalized training on and off the track. Follow GFC Karting on Facebook and Instagram, or click over to gfckarting.com to learn more about joining Team GFC. GFC, live your passion. In racing, experience is priceless. Franklin Motorsports is a leader in the karting industry, and with over 30 years of combined karting experience, we can provide you with everything you need to go racing. With a large online product selection, select track support events, and a wide variety of shop services, Franklin Motorsports is your complete karting source. Check out our online store at franklinkart.com, where all of our products are just a mouse click away. We continue to add to our growing product selection on the online store, and we ship daily to ensure products get to you quickly. We specialize in IAME engines, tilt seats, the Ceramic product line, Driveline branded products, Briggs & Stratton engines, Smoker performance sprockets, OTK products, AIM, MG tires, and of course, the championship-winning Merlin chassis. In our online store, you'll find a variety of items to fill your karting needs. Franklin Motorsports is also known for our wide variety of services and is home to Innovative Engine Works by FMS, our in-house engine service department. Frame straightening, kart prep, and dyno testing are all services offered regularly at Franklin Motorsports. Be sure to stop by the Franklin trailer during the United States Pro Kart Series events as the official trackside vendor. For all things karting, visit franklinkart.com. Welcome back to episode 90 of This Week in Karting. End of November 25th, as I said before the break. Looking forward now to 2026. That's kind of what we're getting. Obviously, the mid-season, people started dropping dates. But as we talked about earlier in the show, Challenging the Americas confirming their locations. Most recently, David, SuperKarts USA confirming the locations for their 2026 Winter Series. They spent a lot of time in Florida. But they're packing up and moving to Texas for the 2026 edition.
Yeah, for the first time in series history, the SuperKarts USA Winter Series will move to the Lone Star State, heading to Speed Sports Racing Park, site of last year's Winter Nationals. January 9th through the 11th will be the opening two rounds, with February 13th through the 15th serving as the finale weekend for the program. Registration is set to open in early December, but quite an interesting move, getting away from the state of Florida for the Winter Series, which it's been kind of the home of that program. Texas is not centrally located, but it is centrally located in a way, Rob, because you do allow the West Coast teams to be able to travel a little bit less further east.
Significantly,
but makes the East Coast teams have to travel a little bit further west, certainly, and further south as well, because Houston's way down there in Texas, as we know. It's a big state to drive through.
Well, one of the interesting things is obviously the next thing coming up is over the last couple of years, SuperKarts USA and Rock Cup USA have kind of, I would say, worked symbiotically together in terms of, obviously being at one point located first and foremost in Florida. So teams can kind of just go up and down in Florida, but then most recently at the Orlando Kart Center. As we know, official news came out from Orlando Kart Center that they were not able to house SuperKarts USA, an event of its size. David, they will, however, be able to host the Rock Cup USA event. Rock Cup USA confirming their locations. They're remaining in Florida. They actually did go to Texas last year, but they are going to remain in Florida for all of their events, all three of their events. Orlando Kart Center for the first two. And David, they'll debut at the T4 Kartplex down in Palmetto for the finale round on the opening weekend of March.
Yeah, it kind of separates that working relationship, which they did have over the last 2 years. But yeah, the focus is on the Orlando facility, unable to house the massive event that the SCUSA Winter Series was in 2025.
They were over 300, weren't they, Dave?
They lost parking spaces available. And again, if anybody who has been to Orlando, it's not easy to park there, just your car. I think that's the main focus. They're not able to be able to house all the vehicles needed to bring all the people into the facility. So that is the hurdle that it does have. And Rob, that's a kind of a common theme we have with a lot of racetracks that we do go to, even speed sports. They fortunately have the rental kart track that they use for parking. When we were there for the SCUSA Winter Series or SCUSA Winter Nationals, because again, weather was an issue, so they used that area to park cars. It's just not something that a lot of the facilities have. It's not like Burt Brothers Motor Park or NOLA Motorsports Park, or because even Trackhouse, we have the same problem. No place to park cars. Trying to think of other facilities.
Every time we're adding, we talk about the fact that when SCUSA goes over 300, and you think about all the teams that are there and the tents and everything that sets up, the paddock has to be a certain size just to be able to have enough racers, right? But remember, when you're talking the difference between 200 racers and 300 racers is 100 rental cars. Right? That's what we're talking about, right? Like you don't really think about that when there's not enough parking for it. Burt Brothers out in Utah, like you said, there's a ton of room to be able to park cars. There's not that at Orlando. There's not that at a lot of the racetracks.
Yeah, I mean, we have a hard enough time at Sonoma.
Yeah, you're right.
With 100 entries, because luckily they do have the lower parking, but then you got to get some shuttles working for that. But yeah, it's just something that, again, logistically, not a lot of people think about, especially competitors. If unless they have to park, over a mile away, that's when they care about it. Yep. And I think that's kind of the issue that SuperKarts USA and Orlando ran into, was the fact of not being able to park all these cars. As you said, well over 300 vehicles to park, to be able to, not to mention staff vehicles and all the other people that are involved in the event. So that's kind of the big problem, or one of the major reasons for the moving. That's, again, we're waiting for a big Newcastle style event or style facility to be built in Florida. That'd be amazing. Because again, that's something that Newcastle has, or Utah, or NOLA, or even we struggle with K1. I think Phoenix might be one of the older circuits that does allow for a massive amount of cars to be parked with a big enough paddock. Tucson, they just repaved all their paddock there, so that looks nice there. But again, it's very tough, and logistically, it just doesn't work out. But Rob, one of the things about the Florida Winter Tour, coming off the Rock Vegas event, they will be adding that Rock SV category to the Florida Winter Tour. So very same format with the engine raffle.
Okay.
Part of the program, going to be part of the Florida Winter Tour this year. So senior drivers going to be able to take part in the Rock SV category.
So the lineup is this, folks, for Rock Cup USA and their Florida Winter Tour for 2026, January 16th to the 18th, Orlando Kart Center, February 6th to the 8th, back to OKC, and then March 6th to the 8th at T4 Kartplex down in Palmetto, Florida. That'll be a tight one as well. Not a lot of parking there at all down in Palmetto, so we'll see how they shoehorn everybody in there. David mentioned the Rock SV Senior category being added to the Florida Winter Tour. And just like the SuperKarts USA Winter Series, look for registration to open early December. Rock Cup USA saying December 1st. They will open registration there. So we go from the Winter Series, Q1. Let's go now later in the year. David, Rock Island Grand Prix confirmed its 31st edition, September 5th and 6th, Labor Day weekend of 2026.
Yeah, they'll return for a 31st edition Labor Day weekend. So that has been confirmed, and that's not very big news. But the big news was the event that was typically scheduled on the same weekend has moved to April 30th through May 3rd. That is the IME USA Grand National Championship run at the Trackhouse Motorplex in Mooresville, North Carolina. So April 30th through May 3rd. Moving the date to earlier in the year. And Rob, you spoke with Eric Jones about that.
Yeah, Eric and I sat down at the Super National to discuss that. I kind of asked him, what's the reason for the move? And it initially was just about all the racing that's going on at Trackhouse, in August and September, right? That through that time of the year, there are so many races that come in, whether it be traveling series that come into the series. They have a lot of their own club races as well. So I think it just came down, and from what Eric said, it was just too much racing going on at that track at that time. So he thought, hey, let's not move it earlier in the season. There's a gap up there where we have, not a lot of events at our racetrack. So April 30th to May 3rd, it'll be a much different deal. Obviously starting the season, not starting the season off, but earlier in, let's say, the regular season. If you take out the Florida events in January, February, and early March, once you get into late March and April and into May, that's kind of the start of the outdoor season, the full national season kind of thing, national regional season. So it could be a different feel, David, for drivers at the Grand National Championship much earlier in the year.
Yeah, I'm wondering how that is going to play out. Obviously, you'll get all of the regular locals that are nearby. A lot of the Eastern teams, it's a matter of, some of the Western teams, are they going to be part of it or not? Looking at the schedule, it kind of falls in. It falls in after the USPKS just announced they will be going to Trackhouse at the beginning of April. That'll be April 10th through the 12th. And then you have Stars racing at Charlotte Motor Speedway the weekend after that. And then you have a week off, and then you'll be having the IME USA Grand National Championship. So again, it's still a busy. Yeah, it's still a busy schedule, and I think we'll talk a little bit more about this in our segment, our fourth segment of the show. But yeah, again, it is a unique event. It's something that people have certainly gravitated to because it's a one-off. It has a unique format, different track layouts, so it is not just another event. I think that's what helps makes that stand out a little bit more.
All right, folks, back to another break. When we come back, we're going to dive into some of the EKN editorial, fill you in on what the stuff that we've actually produced, not just news, but the stuff that we've produced for ekartingnews.com as well. Lots more to come on this edition of This Week in Karting. Is IndyCar your dream? If it is, for 2024 and beyond, the path from karting to IndyCar has gotten even clearer. It's time to look into the new USF Juniors program and the Tatis JR23. As a first step of the USF Pro Championships presented by Continental Tires, the USF Junior Series will feature a 6-event, 13-race schedule to train racers for the move into the USF 2000 Championship presented by Continental Tires. 3 of the events in 2024 will run alongside IndyCar at Mid-Ohio, Road America, and Portland. The champion will win a scholarship worth over $263,000, and there's a total prize fund that will exceed $330,000. The series utilizes the state-of-the-art Tatis JR23 race car, which is a development version of the USF 22 used in USF 2000. It's the ideal entry point for career-minded karters moving into the car racing ladder. Safety is always front and center in the minds of the series promoters, and the new USF Juniors car also features the Halo, and races are supported by members of the AMR IndyCar safety team. If IndyCar is your goal, USF Juniors is the starting line. For more information, visit www.usfjuniors.com and follow USF Juniors on social media. All over the karting world, everyone knows OTK is the gold standard for quality and performance. In the United States, OTK USA is the source for all things OTK. 8 brands under the OTK USA banner are winning races and championships across the country in national programs like the Rock Cup USA Florida Winter Tour, the Challenge of the Americas, the SCUSA Pro Tour and Winter Series, the United States Pro Kart Series, and even more programs throughout the country. And OTK products are also front and center on the podium of club and regional races from coast to coast. Tony Kart, Cosmic, Esprit, EOS, and Red Speed have been joined by the Gallard, LN Racing Kart, and CS55 brands. To learn more about a specific product line or to find the OTK USA dealer near you, visit otkusa.com. Specific chassis territories are still available, so kart shops interested in adding a winning component to their product lineups can contact OTK USA directly. OTK, the gold standard of karting. Motor mounts. They keep your engine attached to your chassis, right? The answer is, they're much more important than that. Your motor mount is critical in transferring 100% of the power from your engine through to your tires and the racetrack. You need this to get on the podium each and every time you race. Odenthal Racing Products is here for you, providing the best motor mounts on the karting market today, all designed to make sure you're using all the horsepower you pay for. Odenthal Racing Products is a family-owned and operated business with decades of karting experience in providing products with unmatched quality and value for our racing community. The Pro Series mount for 2-cycle engines, which is available in 0, 5, and 8-degree inclinations, provides a rigid structure to help keep vibration to a minimum without adding too much weight to your setup. The 4-cycle Easy Set system is one of the most popular mounts for the Briggs & Stratton 206 power plant. Multiple mounting holes provide the most adjustability depending on your chassis and seat placement. To ensure a tight fit to your chassis, our ORP wedge clamps get the job done, and they feature a number of design updates to provide a lower profile and lighter weight. The clamps are available from 28mm to 32mm in both standard and Euro style sizes. And now, Odenthal has also revolutionized the karting industry with its new Easy GP camera mounting system. Designed to mount anywhere on your chassis with 1 or 2 cameras, the ORP Easy GP camera mount is your solution to capture that onboard winning moment. Head to odenthalracing.com and find a dealer near you. Odenthal Racing Products, proudly made in the USA. Welcome back to This Week in Karting, episode number 90, November 25th, as we roll through all the news that worked its way onto the EKN homepage over the last couple of months. It's been a while since we've had our last show. So busy with all the events, all the 4 major events at the end of the season, being the CKNA Grand Nationals, the Rotax US Trophy Final, the Rock Vegas event, and of course the Super Nationals to cap it all off. David, let's dive into some of the editorial that's worked its way out onto the website. We'll talk about a couple of Driver of the Month honors. So obviously, like I said, it's been a couple of months since we've had a This Week in Karting. So back in August, a fantastic month for Lucas Palacio. We named him our Driver of the Month.
Yeah, I just had to look that up because it's been so long.
It's been so long. I know.
It was, speaking of the IME USA Grand National Championship, it was Lucas Palacio doubling up in the junior categories. So that is where he earned that honor to be EKN Driver of the Month for August of 2025. We have the last edition of the EKN Driver Diary with Gage Korn, who competed in the FIA Karting Academy Trophy Junior category, racing in Germany. That was just after that. This kind of chronological order is how we are going over some of the content that we've had since our last show. Rotax Max Challenge, 25 years of history in the United States. That was kind of a lead up into our coverage of the U.S. Trophy Final that was happening later on. And then, Rob, as we mentioned earlier, ECAN celebrated 25 years.
Yeah.
You had a morning coffee. I did it behind the laptop. We did a special happy hour with Howden show on YouTube and Facebook Live as well. So if you can, check out the columns about that. And, of course, our live happy hour with Howden show.
Yeah, that was fun. You think back 25 years, my goodness, right? We've obviously we didn't run it for the first number of years, 21 now that's been under my banner at Howden Media Group, then Howden Communications. But yeah, it's been a long time. It's wild to think that we've been at it for 21, the website itself launching back in 2000. So 25 years of ekartingnews.com. One of the things that actually came over from the magazine, Shifter Card Illustrated, which I started in 1998, and then we eventually transitioned the driver rankings over to ekartingnews.com. It's something that I launched actually in the very first issue of the magazine, which I thought was awesome, having a look at that. And indeed, David, we've continued to do that. You continue to do that. A very deep spreadsheet that you use that's been fine-tuned. But let's have a look at the most recent driver rankings.
Well, the recent was September 15th. We'll have a new one coming out in the month of December to close out the 2025 season. But the driver rankings shifter cart presented by Stilo USA saw AJ Myers, Mateus Morgado, and Billy Musgrave as 1, 2, 3. And interesting looking at the Super National results, we could see that change in terms of second and third. I gotta believe that number one's going to be able to stay the same, as he was the top finisher at the Super Nationals. Meyer was in terms of North American drivers.
Yeah, no doubt about that. So listen again, another great run for him too, right? I kind of think back of, we look at Senna Van Wallstein's run from 16th. Where did Myers was like 24th or something like that, up to 4th? He started deep.
I think now you're making me look this up.
You look it up. I'll roll through a couple of other things here, David. Regardless, Myers, a fantastic run. We also, of course, were trackside for a number of events. We've already talked about them already, the CKNA Grand Nationals, all that trackside coverage, all the race reports are all available on ekartingnews.com if you haven't seen those yet. And again, one of the great things about EKN is being able to have that archive of events to go back and look at throughout the years.
21st.
He started 21st.
21st, yeah.
All right, there you go.
But we didn't go over tag. So EKN
dive into
tag driver rankings presented by Stilo USA. Austin Garrison leading the way back in September ahead of Ryan Norberg and Joe Turney. And Garrison had the best result out of those three at the Super Nationals. Obviously, Turney was the provisional winner, penalized down to 11th. Austin Garrison, after all the other penalties were done, finishing in the 5th spot. So I got to believe the top positions in both driver rankings could stay the same.
Did you pick Garrison to be on the podium?
No, Rob, I did not.
Other coverage that David put together was from the T4 Nations Cup, the Tilton event over in Europe. A little Team USA coverage for the T4 Nations Cup, Dave.
Yeah, the 4-cycle program, that the Tillotson spec program that has been racing for the last couple of years, where they have a kind of a world event, very similar to what you see with the Rotax Grand Finals. It's a very cool and unique event. I'm not a big fan of the facility they go to in Spain. I don't like the last S's section of that racetrack. It just makes no sense to have the way they lay that out. But either way, the USA's continue to be among the top contender.
Yeah.
Didn't get the Nations Cup team title this year, but has done that in the past. So they continue to be a top challenger each year.
Dave, you did some more Team USA coverage as well for the Rock Cup Super Final for 2025.
Yeah, we did that. Again, not very many USA drivers that were over there, but again, strong results for Team USA drivers. So make sure you check that out. Other articles we worked on was the Fast Five by David, with David Oldenthal of Oldenthal Racing Products. ECAN Driver of the Month for September 2025. This one I can easily remember. That was Cale Zimmerman at Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals 9, getting that first victory there at Newcastle Motorsports Park. Behind the laptop, the big three, I did a quick column talking about that race, or actually it was about Rotax Rock Vegas, and Super Nationals. And like you said, Rob, we could do the Fantastic Four when you include the Cup Karts North America Grand Nationals to kind of wrap up the season each year with those 4 events.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. That's the 4 events, kind of the big ones that we all focus on near the end. I mentioned all the EKN trackside events that David was at, the U.S. Trophy Final, Rock Vegas, of course, the all-encompassing SCUSA Super Nationals. It's essentially a 3-week program for us, if not more. David gets started with the previews early, class-by-class previews, a couple of outlap preview podcasts, a couple of debriefs, as we know. All the trackside coverage. It is over 3 weeks of a grind of all the SCUSA Super Nats coverage. And of course, David did a fantastic job with that. And last but not least, David rolling in there, I threw together a quick morning coffee, just talking about Las Vegas, how it is really one of karting's biggest stages. It was interesting. Somebody had asked me, one of my friends asked me, about going to Las Vegas and how many times had I gone, and did I like visiting Vegas? And I kind of laughed and went back with the fact that this would have been my 28th Super Nats, and I also have done at least 10 events, IKF Region 7. We were there for Stars of Karting, now obviously Rock Vegas as well. So I've probably been to Vegas 40 times, all for karting, and it just got me thinking that we don't go to a kart track. Yeah, we did the first number of years right at the Las Vegas Karting Center, but although it's not a kart track, Las Vegas is still a major karting, let's say, destination, or it's a focus, right? It's a place where the spotlight comes out, because Las Vegas every year plays a big role in American karting.
Well, yeah, the draw to the city, it definitely helps. That's part of it. Stars of Karting was there a couple of years, so I remember going there. We did Buffalo Bills, and then obviously the national finals they held inside Las Vegas Motor Speedway for a couple of years as well too. So yeah, it's just, there's been a lot of different type of karting. We look back at some of the old magazines. I think it was the early 80s. There was actually karting going on in the streets of Las Vegas. So again, a lot of history there. You don't think of Las Vegas as being a karting city. When you think of karting, you think Indianapolis or Southern California or NorCal or even, just the whole state of Texas and Florida, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, Vegas definitely has a lot of history within the sport of karting.
No doubt. All right, quick break, folks. When we get back, a little segment that David and I have been adding to this week in karting recently is we're going to kind of talk a little bit about some of the hot topics in the sport of karting. We'll pick one and kind of chat it up a little bit. In karting, it's important to be supported by the right people. With over 40 years of experience in the sport, Trinity Karting Group has everything you need to make your program successful. We do it all, and we do it right. We offer trackside support and arrive and drive programs at many of karting's biggest East Coast events, full product sales and service, and professional coaching from our experienced staff. Trinity Karting Group is a full-service operation based at the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati, which gives us access to our custom-designed driver training facility. This allows us to offer one-on-one coaching to take you to the next level. From arrive and drive and coaching programs to the parts you need, let Trinity Karting Group provide you with customer service and a racing experience second to none. Trinity Karting Group is an official Kart Republic race team, providing full trackside support at all the major USA karting events, including the SCUSA Pro Tour, United States Pro Kart Series, the SCUSA Super Nationals, and other events throughout the season. TKG has Kart Republic, IAME, MG Novinco tires, and more products in stock for those in Ohio and the Midwest region. Trinity Karting Group has a long history in the sport, a winning pedigree, and we're dedicated to driver development. We take pride in our professional approach and our positive attitude. Let us build a custom race program for you. Give us a call at 513-421-4463 or check us out online at trinitykartinggroup.com. 2025 is shaping up to be another historic season for SuperKarts USA. A record-setting turnout competed at the 8th year of the SuperKarts USA Winter Series, including the largest non-Super Nationals event ever for the organization in January. Champions were crowned at the February event, setting the stage for the transition to the SCUSA Pro Tour. This year's Pro Tour is set to visit 3 different states from March to July. SCUSA made its Pro Tour debut in the Lone Star State with the Winter Nationals, held in March at the Speed Sports Racing Park in New Caney, Texas. The Spring Nationals is returning to the Motorsports Country Club of Cincinnati in Batavia, Ohio, over the Memorial Day weekend, May 23rd to 25th. For the 11th time, Newcastle Motorsports Park hosts the SCUSA Summer Nationals. This year's champions will be crowned over the July 25 to 27 weekend in Newcastle, Indiana. Regional action is heating up for 2025 with the flagship Pro Kart Challenge program hosting 5 race weekends at 3 spectacular facilities, including the new K1 circuit in SoCal, Spring Mountain Karting in Nevada, and a highlighted return to Sonoma Raceway. The Texas Sprint Racing Series is offering 5 rounds of racing in 2025, visiting 5 challenging circuits from February to October. Growth continues for Superkarts USA in Mexico as well, with record numbers for their SCUSA Pro Tour Mexico and the Pro Kart Challenge Mexico Series. Set your calendar for November 12th to 16th for the Superkarts USA Super Nationals 28 as the event returns to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for a 3rd straight year. Be part of the largest karting event in North America. For information on all this and more, visit superkartsusa.com. Made in the USA. It's not just a statement, it's the mission at Factory Karts of America. Led by 5-time Super National champion Billy Musgrave, Factory Karts manufactures their frames completely in-house at the Phoenix, Arizona facility. Built and designed from the ground up specifically for the American karting market, Factory Karts brings new innovations and solutions that are long overdue. Factory Karts bring together the highest quality materials to produce high-performance, long-lasting karts that have been designed and perfected from years of development. No other karting manufacturer stands behind its product as Factory Karts does, providing a 2-year warranty on all their frames. Join the Factory Karts official race team this season, hitting the Superkarts USA Pro Tour and Pro Kart Challenge, along with the new Southwest Super Series program. Full trackside support for Factory Kart competitors is available, along with Arrive and Drive programs and tent space housed under our new race team hauler that debuted at Super Nationals 27. Remember when American Made meant more innovative, original, stronger, faster, and just plain better? Well, American Made is back. Contact Factory Karts today to join the American Made movement. Learn more by visiting factorykarts.com or email info@factorykarts.com. Welcome back to this edition of This Week in Karting. We'll dive into our quick hit section here. We call it What's Hot, kind of the latest topics in the sport of karting. My name is Rob Howden. David Cole, of course, joining me here in the EKN studio. David, what are your thoughts on what you want to hit on? Every time we do this, I feel like it just needs to become a roundtable. We need to finally put one of those together, and I think we'll do that potentially next week. Of course, this is Thanksgiving week, so Thursday and Friday you'll be off. Maybe next week we can put together a roundtable. You got a topic you want to get into? I kind of have one I'd like to touch on too.
Well, I kind of just labeled this end of the 2025 season.
Yep.
Just so we can kind of go over, for a quick 10-minute discussion about, things that happened or kind of viewpoints on the season itself. For me, it was probably one of the busiest karting seasons we've ever had. You look back at, as we said, the early days of EKN, things didn't really get going until, say, March or April. January and February was kind of the off season after Daytona Kart Week. People got a chance to catch their breath, get geared up for the next year. But again, back then, not everybody was racing 20 to 30 times a year. And now you're starting to see all these racers competing 20 to 30 times a year, if not more. Some people are at the racetrack every single weekend.
Yeah.
And again, it's not here just in the USA. You're seeing it in Europe as well, too. You got WSK running probably 20 different events on the year with their Winter Cup, their Euro Cup, their Nations Cup, their Final Cup. They're getting their 12 to 15 to 20 events promoted each year. So it's quite interesting to kind of see the evolution of the sport. And we talked about this with the Chorus Group, the evolution of our sport. It's becoming more and more business. Now, in turn, personally for myself, I just don't see us focusing on bringing new people in. I think that's always been the struggle with our sport, right now we're not really worrying about it because we're getting enough people to kind of going to races and competing again, our numbers are massive. We just finished up Supercarts USA Super Nationals 28 with the third largest ever event there. So again, we're, numbers at that level are still pretty big, but I still think we need to continue to kind of keep focusing on that grassroots level, or not just grassroots, but just getting new and more people involved in the sport. Again, I always want to keep hitting on that, because you can only go as far as the numbers that you already have. And I think this year it kind of shows that you go to some of the events and you kind of see people, their attitude's a lot different from in the beginning of the year, right?
Yeah. Well, listen, but by the end of the season, these mechanics, coaches, teams, they've been on the road, 40 weekends. And that's kind of part of that's the evolution, I think, of the business side, the industry side, right? Back in the day when there was more brick and mortar kart shops, that again, that helps you, David, getting new people into the sport, because they would be walking down the street, they'd wander into a kart shop, find out about it, and see a magazine or whatever it may be, and potentially say, I want to dive into this thing. Where now it's really, really hard for someone to bump into karting unless it's through, indoor karting, whatever it may be. But the industry now is more of a service industry where these teams, they would have been shops back in the day, and now they're teams that are on the road for 40 weekends out of the year, servicing clients who are coming in, they arrive and drives. It's not so much a mom and dad and their son or daughter going racing anymore. It's you sign up, you do an arrive and drive deal, and your kid's racing for a major team, and they'll tell you, the more you race, the better it is. It's the truth. The more you race, the more you're in the seat, the better you're going to be. So yeah, if you want to be good, you want to be up front, you got to keep racing, right? You got to keep on track. So that's what's burning a lot of people out, if indeed they are burnt out with the fact that there's just racing nonstop, as everybody wants to be in the seat as much as they possibly can.
Yeah, and also there's a lot more events, I think, that now than there used to be as well. I mean, we're seeing, I think there's probably 5 to 6 events in the month of December coming up in terms of racing, and not just club racing. Like, these are kind of regional events, and so it's strange just to kind of see the evolution of it. But again, I think 2025 was probably one of the busiest. I think 2026 is going to be right there.
Well, add in a couple more series too. Apex is coming in, right? So more, just if there was any open slots, we're jamming another series in there.
Yeah, and so that's why 2026 is going to be just as busy. I think people are kind of getting away from the September and October area, in terms of scheduling, because of, by that time, kids are going back to school. So I think that's might be kind of the free area, because May, June, July, and August are just loaded with a number of events that will be happening in 2026. And we, of course, have already gone over what's happening from January to April already in some of the schedule stuff that we just talked about in the previous segments. But what was the thing that you were going to bring up?
Oh no, mine's a lot longer. I was going to talk about the racing standards at Super Nationals. I wanted to touch on that, but I think that's something we need to bring in for a roundtable.
Yeah, I think that's something different. Like, I mean, what is kind of?
Yeah, let me add to where you are. Because here's the interesting thing: is I don't know that can we close Pandora's box, right? Because like how do you go back to where we were at one point? Like I go back to my early days, late '90s, early 2000s. We talk a lot about the fact that the industry used to get together at a big kart show. It was called Kart Expo in Chicago, outside Chicago, and that was a big thing. That's where you kind of debuted new product and manufacturers, component manufacturers, series, whatever, kart shops could meet with racers. People would come out. There'd be some banquets going on. It was a fantastic deal for the sport to get together, usually in late February. But again, at that point, there was one winter series, right? It was the Florida Winter Tour. SCUSA. It was actually a SCUSA Winter Series when it first started, the Florida Winter Tour. But there was one race in January, one race in December, maybe a race in early March. That just wasn't jammed in. ICAF Region 7 will get started out at Cal Speed at the races at what time? Maybe first week of February, mid-February kind of thing. Now, as we know, David, probably the absolute busiest months are January, February, March, when everybody, obviously, we're jamming in. At one point, there was you add in the Rotax Winter Trophy events at Orlando, rather. and you've got 8 major events, 9 major events in the first 3 months. It's a lot, I think, in Q1.
Yeah, that's something that we forgot to put in the script is they're going back to Orlando Kart Center for January 23rd through the 25th, January 30th through February 1. So yeah, you got Florida Winter Tour, Rotax, 3 straight weekends at Orlando Kart Center, where before Superkarts USA was at the front and the end of that stretch. But Florida Winter Tour will be right. Yeah. So it's actually 4 straight weeks at Orlando if you count Florida Winter Tour and Rotax Winter Trophy. So it's quite unique in that, because then you add in the SCUSA Winter Series, which does sandwich those. You throw in the Challenge Opener. You got the Florida Winter Tour finale at the beginning of March, and then the Winter Nationals at the end of March. Again, just a lot of racing happening. Not to mention, Rob, Cup Karts North America holding Winter Nationals. They have a South program, the Spring Nationals, another South event in Daytona, all before the end of March. And they were going to host the race in December in Texas, which they are not doing now.
Well, listen, let's go to the positive, because I know you mentioned this to me already. If there's a positive, it's that their divisional series have gone down to 3 races, right?
Yes, the Canada was already 3, so that was good. The South staying at 4, and then you throw in the Winter Nationals, so they actually added. But when you look at the East and the North, which the North is doing a reschedule because of some conflicts, because again, the Miami Grands moving kind of jumbled up the schedule again, moving some other dates around for Route 66 and other now. So now Cup Karts is having to move around. Again, you throw the Apex in there. There's just so much, but yes, the East and the North for Cup Karts North America are going from 4 to 3, which I think long-term will help bring numbers back, because again, if you have 4 national events, including winter, spring, summer, and the Grand Nationals, and then you have 4 regionals, that's 8 races just in Cup Karts. How are you going to do any club races? How are you going to be able to do any of this or that? Again, Briggs is always focused on grassroots racers, and not all grassroots racers have that type of budget to be able to do all these events. So I think 3 is a good move. Again, it helps the teams out that do want to support it as well too, because they're already stretched thin enough with the 2-cycle side of things. If they want to support the 4-cycle side and help build that program up, I mean, it doesn't really need help building at the Grand Nationals level, but at least at the divisional level, that's where again you'll get drivers coming up from the clubs to come do the divisionals and maybe become 2-cycle racers down the road, or you continue to just support them in the 4-cycle side of things. Again, there's just so much to kind of, the Excel spreadsheet's just all over the place in terms of racing. Exactly. So, and then you got all the other programs, Stars and Texas Sprint Racing Series going on. There's just Route 66, the Ignite Challenge that they're trying to do. There's just a lot of racing going on. And then road racing gets left out to the side.
Yeah, there you go. All right. So there you go. We kind of were able to vent a little bit about so much racing going on. But again, folks, we don't see it changing a lot. Again, focus on what works for you. Grab your series, build your schedule, and get back out to the racetrack. Again, in 2026, things will kick off early in January. Final break in the action of this edition of This Week in Karting. When we come back, we'll have a quick look at the EKN podcasts that have come out. We'll have a little chat about the EKN radio network, and we'll tell you what's coming up on ekartingnews.com. The state of Florida is the place to be if you want to win yourself a ticket to the 2026 Rotax Max Challenge Grand Finals. The first opportunity to secure a ticket to next year's Grand Finals is the upcoming Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy. The 2-event, 4-round series takes place on consecutive weekends at the Orlando Kart Center in Orlando, Florida. Compete at the opening event of the 2026 Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy on January 23rd to 25th at OMC, and then return for the second doubleheader on January 30th to February 1st for your chance to compete against the best karters from around the world. The RTX USA Group is bringing in the best staff to oversee this year's 4-round Rotax Max Challenge Winter Trophy Championship program that will hand out 6 tickets to the 2026 Rotax Grand Finals. Compete in Micromax, Minimax, Junior Max, Senior Max, Masters Max, DD2, and DD2 Master this winter in Orlando. Learn more by visiting rtxkarting.com today. CRG is one of the most iconic brands in the world of karting with a never-ending focus on winning. Kart CRG USA is the North American distributor for all CRG products. Based outside of Houston, Texas, Kart CRG USA supports CRG dealers across the continent, reaching every corner of North America. The CRG KT5 has been designed specifically for the US market. The KT5 is the perfect fit for X30, KA100, and other tag platforms, featuring the new Aero package and VEN 11B braking system. For cadet drivers, the CRG Black Beer continues to log in victories and championships across the globe, and is utilized in both 2-cycle and 4-cycle competition here in North America. Longtime CRG drivers will be happy to know the CRG Road Rebel, the standard in quality and performance, continues its excellence for those in the shifter kart ranks. The CRG FS4 chassis is the ideal choice for racers in Briggs and Stratton competition, with numerous podium results across classes at the CKNA divisional and national events. From pure racing to karting entertainment, many tracks, both indoor and outdoor, have made the switch to the CRG Centurion rental kart line. 5 different models for both gas-powered or electric engines can fit any track's needs for a new rental kart fleet. Kart CRG USA has a full inventory of rental karts available for new and existing facilities. For more information on the CRG product line, head to kartcrgusa.com, or to inquire about a North American dealer near you, please email us at sales@kartcrg.com.
Welcome to AIM Sports and the groundbreaking Micron 6 karting data logger. Since its inception, AIM Sports has been at the forefront of motorsport technology, revolutionizing how racers gather data. From its early days, AIM has tailored its innovations to provide precise insights, allowing racers to fine-tune their strategies and push their limits. Fast forward to today, and we're excited to celebrate 30 years of Micron by introducing the latest evolution in karting data loggers, the Micron 6. Designed with cutting-edge features, including 25Hz GPS with mil-spec precision, a 6-axis inertial platform, shift lights and alarms, temperature inputs, and a host of wired and wireless expansions. With 2 CAN buses, Bluetooth, and Wi-Fi, it's perfect for karting enthusiasts looking to enhance their game on the track. With its advanced suite of sensors, high-speed data acquisition, and easy-to-use interface, the Micron 6 delivers unparalleled performance on track. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, this powerful tool helps you analyze every turn, every lap, even every heartbeat. Imagine a tool that not only records your lap times, but also analyzes parameters like speed, tire temperature, driver inputs, and engine performance. With the Micron 6, you'll gain insights that can shave seconds off your times and elevate your skills behind the wheel. Don't just drive, be data-driven. Join the AIM Sports community today and equip yourself with the Micron 6 to take your karting experience to the next level. Visit aimsports.com to learn more. AIM Sports, 30 years of Micron.
All right, let's come back here and wrap things up for this edition of This Week in Karting, episode number 90. Again, it's November 25th, 2025. My name is Rob Howden, joined as always by David Cole. David, give us a wrap-up of some of the ECAN podcasts that have come out. Of course, everything going up on the ECAN radio network as well.
No, just again, make sure you download if you're not already downloading podcasts through iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, and also you can get them on YouTube as well as other podcast media, podcast outlets. Make sure you subscribe so that way you do get updated when we do hit new podcasts. And again, we're playing all these podcasts and more on the ECAN Radio Network, the 24-hour, 7 days a week channel dedicated to karting. The only karting radio station in the world. So make sure you have both of those. Again, EKN Radio Network available on your phone, available on the web, and again, podcasts anywhere you get them.
All right, folks, here is where we're going to be. We actually, as David mentioned, a little break in the action. Dave's home for still, a month and a half, a little over a month and a half right now for David. I'll be home for a little longer than that, thankfully, back in mid-February. But again, coming up on the our next events trackside-wise won't be till January 9th, 10th, and 11th. David will be back trackside at Speed Sports for the SCUSA Winter Series in New Katy, Texas. Back again the following month, February 13th to the 15th, for the capper of SuperKarts USA Winter Series for 2026. And he and I will reconvene at the Challenge of the Americas at K1 Circuit in Winchester, California, February 20th to the 22nd. A bit of a break, David, but it's going to fly by pretty fast.
It will. Yeah, it will. Definitely. Looking at the SCUSA Winter Series going to Speed Sports, I'm trying to figure out what they're going to do track-wise, if they're just going to run the same kind of layout, very similar to what we've had at the Orlando Kart Center, or if they're going to change it up, maybe shorten up the layout a little bit. Obviously, there's only a few configurations they can do at Speed Sports. I don't think backwards would be the way to go with the large fields that they probably will have going down the straightaway into the grid. That's a fast section, so I don't quite see that happening. But maybe cutting the track a little bit shorter to kind of change it up just a little bit. Maybe that's an option for SuperKarts USA to kind of make it a little bit different from one weekend to the next. Other than that, yeah, it's going to be quite unique. I think, Speed Sports being a very fast racetrack, but very technical as well, too. Again, a lot of drivers talk about how challenging it is to drive that racetrack.
No doubt. There you have it, folks. We've given you all the information that's been made its way to the EKN homepage over the last couple of months. Lots going on, as we know. We were very focused on all the major events, the big four, as we've talked about. Was it Fantastic Four, Dave? Is that what you're using?
Yeah, the end of the year. Yeah, the Fantastic Four. Yeah.
We've been pretty busy since CKNA all the way through to the Super Nationals. Again, lots more coming here now that we're at home for a little bit. We'll get some roundtables rolling. We've got some more podcasts coming. Watch for some face-to-face shows to come up here as well. Lots more coming. And then, again, another This Week in Karting, maybe a couple of weeks from now, as long as we get enough information rolling onto the homepage. Thanks for tuning in, folks. We do appreciate it. Big thank you to Margay Racing for being our presenting sponsor of this episode of This Week in Karting. On behalf of David Cole, my name's Rob Howden.